Hello and welcome back to episode 22 of Alan Wake. I'm Vic and you're watching yet another Let's Play channel. So I said I was going to flashlight all of this stuff, but I'm increasingly convinced that I can't flashlight all of this stuff. So I'm going to jump to my death. That sounds good, right? But what I should do instead is just rush it. After dealing with a few of these things, they're just going to bounce around and be obnoxious. Great job with dodging, Alan. Okay, so, yeah. Jump. Oh my god, look at all those flare gun flares. Okay, so let's do this. I'm guessing this is what I'm supposed to do. This is fun, right? It doesn't seem very much like it's accomplishing things, though. Let's refill and get closer.
You will fail.
You will fail. Okay, but now what? Destroy the tornado. Alright, let's try the flares again. What if I do that? That's no good. What if I do this? Oh, it doesn't like that. Well, if it's all in my head, that means it's my rules. What just happened? I'm just gonna suddenly start looking random directions. Tornado Wrangler. No! You picked that back up. Fool. You gonna click it? It's way too early to take a breath.
Hell!
Shh, baby. You were having a bad dream.
Mm-mm.
It was just another nightmare.
Mm-mm.
No,
Everything's fine. You're home.
it wasn't a dream.
Everything's fine.
Turn the lights on. Turn the lights on!
What?
Shh, baby. The power's out. There's no light. Come back to bed and I'll make you forget all about your fear of the dark.
My fear? It's your fear. Why aren't you afraid? You're not Alice. Turn the lights on now. Where's the clicker? What did you do with it?
Alan, honey, you're still 1 foot in a dream. You're not making any sense. Come back to bed.
No.
Alan, you're scaring me.
Cool
now.
shower.
Come back to bed. Have you taken your pills? Do you want me to call Dr. Hartman?
Yeah, you do it. You call Dr. Hartman.
I read your manuscript. It's brilliant. Departure is your best regret. You're a genius. I'm so proud of you.
Flattery
Come
will
back to
get
bed.
you
Stop worrying about it
nowhere.
in the morning.
But since you're hanging around in your panties, why don't I grab this camera? Okay. So where that clicker, though?
Come back to bed, Tom.
Hey, Tom. How you doing, buddy?
You must find your way to the cabin. It stands in your way. It won't let you pass. It has no heart. It's filled with darkness. You must fill its heart with light.
Oh, so I should have gone to bed with it.
Don't mind him. He's Mr. Scott. Your friends will meet him when you're gone.
Mr. Scratch. Isn't that a name for the devil?
Use the clicker.
Oh, cute. So, can I... So I can turn things real by shining the flashlight on them. Interesting. I will take that for all the good it will do me. Path. Useful. Okay. Now you, telephone pole. Alright, very good. We can move on now. Shoebox. I need that.
I'm leaving you.
What?
I'm leaving you, Alan. I met someone. I'm in love with someone else.
Alice? No, what are you saying? You can't...
You don't love me. How could you? You don't even love yourself.
Oh.
All you do is torture yourself with work you can't do anymore.
No, I love you more than anything in the world. You're my muse.
I'm not.
Who are you? What have you done with my Alice?
Alan? What are you doing? Put the light back on. What are you doing, Alan? Stop. Put the light back on.
It wasn't true. Nothing like that had ever happened. You're not my Barbara.
Tom, let me go. I promise to be good. Please, untie me, you naughty boy. I will help you get masterpiece. I will love you forever.
No, you're not Barbara Jagger. I made a terrible mistake. I should have never written you back. You came back wrong. Your heart is filled with darkness.
Put that knife away, Thomas. Put it down.
My heart is filled with darkness. I'll cut it out.
Ah!
I'll take you back to the Dempster Cave then.
Okay.
Now you will never get her back. I am much older than you.
And I've got more followers than you.
Your first work of art.
Or something.
I will find a new face to wear. Someone else to dream me free.
That's a hell of a hug. Welcome to the Upside Down, Alan.
I could feel Alice's presence close by. I understood what I had to do now. I knew how to write the ending to Departure. There's light and there's darkness. Cause and effect. There's guilt and there's atonement. But the scales always need to balance. Everything has a price. That's where Zane had gone wrong. There's a long journey through the night back into the light.
Alice? Alice? Oh no!
That's a lot of days. That's not a week. What did Alice do with her pants? Seriously.
Alan? Alan?
So there we go. And then the Bureau of Control picked her up and interviewed her and left this case unsolved because they had business to tend to. And it's Deerfest. Isn't that interesting?
It's not a lake. It's an ocean.
Alan, wake up.
And there we go. That's the end of that. A little bit of a short episode. I'll have to decide whether I'm going to cut this into 21 or leave it on its own. Definitely a big change in technology and in writing between 2010 when Alan Wake came out and 2019 when Control did. And that's copyrighted music, so I'm going to have to cut that out. Very cool. It's Space Odyssey by David Bowie, in case you're curious. I guess it's sort of fitting. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely not, like, spot on. But, okay. Definitely some stuff about the way this engine works that I found continuously annoying as as anybody who actually watched would have noticed. The dodging was a cool idea, but just needed like a little more polish or something, I think. And the constantly and inexplicably losing your weapons, which was, I mean, it was annoying, but it wasn't like a hindrance. I'm looking forward to seeing some more of this in Control 2 or Alan Wake 2 or whatever it turns out to be. This definitely seems like the biggest Altered World event that we learned about in Control, with the exception of the events of Control, of course. Especially, well, and maybe even including the events of Control when you consider that this event spans decades. And involved the total or near total erasure of a quote-unquote very famous person and the creation of a second famous person. And did he also write himself out? I guess he must not have, because the Bureau was able to learn about him, and it didn't know about Zane. So that's interesting. I'm hoping that the day is going to come when we take Jesse into the dark place and rescue Alan and Zane and cut the darkness off from the world so that it can live in its ocean by itself. I might have said this before, but I also think it would be really fun to just... Sorry, the music is a little distracting. I do think it would be really cool to play a Bureau game where you go out on missions and deal with events and then return to the Bureau and drive some overarching story. I can hope that that's what the next game is going to be, and that maybe Alan Wake and his resolution will be the big picture or the climax, or at least an important feature. It was really cool to see that game taking place entirely within the oldest house, but probably need to do something new for the next one. And I keep talking about Control while we're playing Alan Wake, which is, I don't know, is that fair? Whatever, it's what it makes me want to do, right? I mean, that's how art is supposed to work. Unless you're one of those snobs who thinks that you can't really understand art without being properly educated and indoctrinated in its interpretation. But I already called those people snobs, so what more do I need to say about it? I wonder what more there might be to Alan Wake's story himself. I mean, Zane, it appears, doesn't have the capacity or doesn't know how to rescue himself. So we can assume that Alan Wake hasn't either. And I mean, like, what more is he going to do? He doesn't appear to be... Well, that's an interesting question. So he was a quote-unquote creative, and he came here and he accessed the power in this place. Does that make him a paranaturalist, or whatever they call the people who can interact with objects of power? Or is it just that he happened to be in this place, and when he gets out he's going to go back home and probably go back to being an alcoholic? I don't know. It doesn't feel to me like there is much more to his story with him as a protagonist, which is probably part of the reason that I keep talking about Jessie. Because I really feel like it's her story from now on, or at least it's more her story than his. I'm not sure I would like it as much if the continuation wasn't about Jessie, if it was instead about a team from the Bureau that didn't include Jessie, and that she was just like some some desk jockey sitting in the director's office, not doing. I don't think we have any reason to believe that that's how Jessie is going to end up, considering how resistant she was to accepting the role of the director in the first place. And even once she did accept it, she was still plenty hands-on. But there's an interesting pressure there, because one of the reasons that you delegate as a leader is because you don't have the time to be everywhere all the time. On the other hand, the reason that you choose somebody to be a leader is because they have the skill to do that instead of being the boots on the ground. So what does that mean for Jessie? I don't remember noticing that Microsoft was so prominently involved in Control. Did, what is the name of this studio? Remedy? Were they just being produced by Microsoft in this one, and they moved off on their own? Did they start off as a Microsoft studio and spin out? I think I'm going to need to check and see what other Remedy games are out there, because I've been really pleased with these guys as a studio. I mean, certainly I did just spend several minutes whining about things that I was unhappy with Alan Wake, but this was a really compelling story, and overall it was a solid game, especially given that it was originally released 11 years ago now. We get spoiled sometimes with our modern AAA engines and all of the stuff that people have learned about controls and stuff like that since then. I'm running out of stuff to talk about. I've been running my mouth for 7 minutes or more since these credits started, and they're not done yet. So I guess that's going to be a no on the cutting this into episode 21. This is going to have to stand on its own. CSS Studios. Who named that? It's not a Cascading Style Sheet Studios. Special thanks. That's quite a list. Jimbo Pfeiffer. That's an interesting name. Jorg Newman. Anyway, yeah, all things considered, I'm quite pleased with this game, especially when I remember to forgive it for the shortcomings that are just due to its age. And I'm certain that Remedy's got some other stuff out there that I haven't played yet. I feel like I've seen it on some other things that I've got in my library, so we will have to check that out. And in the meantime, I'm going to have to figure out what we're going to play next. Tyson is coming back. We are going to wrap up Breath of the Wild, and I'll just go ahead and date this recording and say that Skyward Sword just came out, and I'm excited to dig into that. I got a cool new Pro controller that is very pleasing for the Switch. Let's see. I also mentioned I do want to get back into Valheim. I might think about doing some live streams so I can do some prep work, build up some resources, and maybe do a little construction in preparation for Tyson coming back. I'm going to have to talk him into that, because he noticed when we went to the swamp that just having good gear wasn't going to be enough. He was going to actually have to skill up his character, and that's a time sink, which is a problem for a guy who has a young family and also a career. So I'm going to have to figure out how to balance that and make it fun for him. Other than that, I don't really have a lot of thoughts right now about what we might do next. I'm going to have to find something solo to do, because Tyson's time definitely is limited. Pokemon Switch, maybe? I don't know how that one will go, like, solo, though. And honestly, I'm not sure how many episodes Pokemon Switch is going to be worth. Or Pokemon Snap. There we go. Like, I know I'm going to enjoy playing that, but it's going to be a whole bunch of, like, rolling through the same stage over and over again to get the, you know, the one shot that I want to get, which is not going to be fun to watch, unless I do a whole bunch of cutting. And although I don't have a young family, I do also have a career, and I just don't have that much time. I'm probably never going to have that much time. So what else have I got? I don't need to think about that on camera. Metric Minds. There's a whole list of surnames I've never seen before. Oh, that reminds me, I did a little bit of reading, and it turns out that Ati, who I think I accused of being Norwegian at one point, his name and the things that he says, those are Finnish things. A bunch of the stuff that he says are apparently Finnish idioms. So if anybody ever watches those episodes, they're probably going to be offended by that. Voice talent. Lots of people taking on multiple roles. James McCaffrey, Zane the Diver, and Alex Casey. That's interesting. So once we got into the dark place, there was a moment where Alan and Zane used the same voice. And that kind of led me to wonder whether we're meant to believe that Alan really is just like an echo of Tom. But yeah, through most of the game, they didn't have the same voice. Maybe that was just to make it less confusing, or maybe that was the truth. And what we saw at the end was just sort of Tom and Alan blurring together because their roles were converging. Barabra Oi. I've been sitting in this chair too long. It's time to get up. We gotta be running out of credits soon, right? We're running out of episodes soon. After I was worried that I was gonna have to put out a short episode. Gameplay testing? There's a bunch more surnames I've never seen before. Honkanen. Soundtrack composed and recorded by Petri Alanko, except those copyrighted tracks that I had to cut out. Roy Orbison. I recognize that one. Is that the only one I'm going to recognize? I think it might be. I'm so out of touch when it comes to music. Oh, there we go. Space Odyssey by David Bowie. The Darkest Star by Depeche Mode. I should have recognized that. Alan Wake uses Havoc physics. Remember when Havoc was a hot engine? Copyright 1999 to 2012. Umbra visibility optimization. That must have been the weirdness that I occasionally spotted in the background. It's like a level of detail thing. The sudden stop written by Alan Wake and departure written by Alan Wake. Alan Wake isn't real credits. Alan Wake's journey through the night will continue. Man, imagine playing that game in 2010 and being excited for Alan Wake 2. And then sitting here in 2021 and being like, so where is it? Anyway, that is it for episode 22, as well as the rest of Alan Wake. So come back and see me again next time for something new. Can't tell you what. Talk to you then.